Hello, and welcome to today's webinar on Stova, the registration module, event emails in the registration module. I'm your trainer host today, Steve McGillivray. I work in the Office of University Events and Protocol and have been using Stova since 2017. So know a lot about the system. And having trained on the system a lot, we decided event emails deserved its own webinar because there's a lot of features involved and a lot going on. I know we've scheduled this session for 90 minutes. I don't think we're going to have to fill the entire 90 minutes, but that means there will be plenty of time to cover in depth some of these features and also to answer any questions you may have. So let's just get rolling here. As usual, we start with some housekeeping details. As you may have heard when you entered the room, the session is being recorded, and a link to this session will be provided by emails in the days following this webinar. As we go through the system, you may see some other company names. Besides Stova, you may see Aventry. You may even see eTouches. Those were the names that the company has been going through the last since 10 years. Started as eTouches, then turned to Aventry. Now we are Stova, but it is the same platform we have been using for all these years. When it comes to asking questions, feel free to post a question in the chat. We'll keep an eye on that. My wingman today is Laura. She'll also give me a heads up if there's a question in the chat I need to answer. You're also free to unmute your microphone during the presentation and let me know what I need to cover again or answer a question. Or, as I said, there should be time at the end for all final questions. All right. So, again, before we get started, this is what we're covering today, event emails registration module. And I want to make it clear that this is different than emails in the marketing module. In the marketing module is where you would create an email to invite your attendees to your registration, to your event, and register at your site or send other promotional materials. Event emails live in the registration module and are your way to communicate with the people who have registered for your event. And there are a couple of different ways. There are what are called system or triggered emails. There are also emails you can schedule to send. Does your administrator want to be notified if certain people are registering or if everyone is registering? And also there are some special email reports that we want to make you aware of. So again, just want to make that differentiation. This is about event emails to your registrants after they have registered for your event, not the invites and other marketing promo material that you would do in the marketing module. I think if you look at our schedule, we do have at least one marketing module webinar coming up. If you're interested, please sign up for that. And just so a background, whenever we do these webinars, we're using a use case. And this is one I use for our Event Builder series. I'm making a huge conference, multi-day conference with lots of sessions. And how does that affect emails? Well, I've created a number of categories in the event for my different participants, the attendees, the exhibitors, the sponsors, and I could use that to send each of those categories special emails. I could also include information about what sessions they have selected during the registration process and other things that I can use during registration and in the setup of the event for sending emails to targeted audiences. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind as we go through. And as usual, when we start our webinars, we start on our support page so that we can click on the login button here and go right into Stova's login page. They want my ASU right. And because I've logged in earlier today, I will not see the ASU single sign-on screen. I go right into my team account. And to see my events, I need to click on that folder. And this is the event I'm looking for to work on today. And another pro tip for you is if you click on an event name, you will be taken to the overview page. But if you right-click on a name, you'll have a contextual menu showing up where you can go into a specific page or feature of the site. And here I want to go to registration settings directly. So saves you a few steps. Okay, and again, I want to go to here, the event emails beta. So first we'll talk about the system emails or triggered emails. What is a trigger? Well, these are the things that your attendees or registrants do that in the system. And once they do it, or don't do it, depending on the email, they will get an email automatically. I mean, the most common one is the confirmation email. Once they successfully submit a registration on your site, they should be sent the confirmation email. Another common email is the the incomplete registration. So if your registrants open up your registration site but do not finish the registration process within 30 minutes, they will be marked as incomplete in the system, and then this email will be sent to them to say, hey, you didn't finish, and if you'd like to finish your registration, click this link here to go back to the event. Okay? These other emails all come with the ASU template that we provide to all units. Some of these you may never need to use, but they're provided in case you need to use them, such as the two for waitlisting purposes, waitlist confirmation, and a spot has opened. If you're using the event and category waitlist feature, you need to have these emails. But if you're not using that feature, no harm, no foul, nothing there to trigger them. All right? And we do have other emails for cancellations and whether or not they've updated. If you're allowing people to go back into their original registrations, an email again confirms that they made changes to their registration. Again, these only happen, or these are only sent if those actions are triggered. Okay? Now, when you do create a new event, oh, and by the way, if you've clicked the big blue button, we call it, the Create New Event from the Events page, you probably will not see, well, you won't see all of these. You may see confirmation, you may see incompletes, but just be aware that's one of the reasons why. And if you do want to update those emails with ASU branding that we have provided in the templates, I'll show you how to copy over the code a little later in today's webinar. But when you create a new event from either our template or a clone of a previous event, you should go into these emails and do a couple of things. I'm going to hit Edit. And if you've started off from our templates, you will have these placeholder texts in the From email fields, in the Reply To email fields, and the name. So these are the things you should update. So I am going to enter for my unit. And something has actually happened here, and I need to explain why. So as you can see here, I have a special domain name on this email, a.asu.edu. And this is an email security system called DMARC that ASU has implemented, and it needs that little code, that A+, to get past the ASU email servers and delivered to their recipients. If you do not have that, and you try to save your email, what will happen is you will get this little message about the email domain is not permitted. That's what it's talking about. This only happens in any from or sender fields in emails in the Stova system. It has to be DMARC compliant. And if you're just using an ASU email address, just add the A dot and you're fine. That's all you need to do. Do not add that down here under reply to email. That, first of all, should not be DMARC compliant. It actually will fail as a reply to if you try. But also another note down here is you might, in some cases, want to have a different from email address than the reply to email address. Well, like when? Well, perhaps you have an email you want to look like it's coming from your dean. Lovely. You would put his email address there and his name in the from. But you probably don't want those emails to go to the dean if somebody hits reply, or you won't be in a reply all situation with this, thankfully. But anyway, you may want to redirect replies to some other inbox. Maybe a member of your staff, or perhaps you have a public folder that accepts emails. Those are two options for you, and this is coming from experience because we make the mistake so you don't have to. All right, and it wasn't the dean; it was the provost. So, you know, learn from our mistakes. Now I want to put in our name. And I'm not a fast typer. I have a little utility here that will pop in texts for me. Okay. And I would want to do this through all the emails, even the ones I don't expect to use, just so, again, if I clone this later, it's already done for me. I can just check that box. Okay. Here up here under event email type, this is listing those triggers, and there are a lot of triggers. Okay. So we're in the initial confirmation, and it's a confirmation email. You have a secondary. It's just a way of designating that there are two emails going out for confirmation purposes. So it's not really a function. It's just letting you organize emails properly. Why would I have an initial and a secondary? Well, one reason I have a secondary is for events that have fees. I like first to be a general confirmation email. Yes, you've registered, hoping to see you soon. But I have a secondary confirmation that gives them a link to their receipt since they've paid, and I'll change that subject line to receipt for the event. Because if they're searching for that receipt for their business manager, they're not going to necessarily remember that I've put it in the confirmation email, but they will remember by the subject line, receipt, this must be it. So I would have two emails for a paid event. That's just me. Okay? But there are a lot of other triggers that you can use here. I'm not going to go through them all. Different features for Stova that you can use. Next, down here, now we can start to customize the content of our email. And again, in our ASU template, we provide you with a ASU branded email already and just giving you placeholder text and a few things pre-programmed for you to use. This is the HTML content editor. It should look familiar to you. You've seen it in a number of places in Stova. It looks kind of like a Word doc kind of system. And the most common request we get first off is how do we update the graphics on an email? So this is how. Let's say I want to change the logo. What I can do is if I double click on the image, I'm going to go into the image properties, and over here is how I can find where my images that I've uploaded are, or if I need to upload an image, I can do that also from here. I'm going to hit Browse Server, and that opened up in another window. So we come over here. So now I'm in the images database. Before I upload, I always have to at least be inside my team folder. If I was to upload graphics here, I would never see them again. They might show up on my emails, but they also might disappear. So don't take the chance. At least always click into your team folder first. Now I can upload safely, and I'll also have access to whatever I upload here from within the Stova system. I've done a little organizing here by adding folders, so I want to go into this, and this is where I want to upload my images. Now I can click the Upload New Image. Again, it goes to another screen. And now I'm going to browse my computer for where those images are. It's not pre-saved, so I know I've got a special folder for demonstrations. Here we go. Now I've got docs and I've got images in this folder. I'm just going to select the images, and I can select more than one. I can upload up to 20 at a time. Save me time if I do it now. Select them, hit open. I've got 4 files. Go ahead, upload. Now, normally I recommend that you do any sizing of your graphics before you import. Sometimes you forget, and if so, this is one place, one of a couple places, where you can edit your images is on upload. if I needed to resize something, I could hit edit. I would go into a screen where it would ask me, what do you want to do here? You want to change the name? Do you want to resize or crop? I could do that here, but I'm not going to do that because I've set these the way I want. I had 0 upload problems, so there is no close window. I just have to manually close it up here by clicking the red button on my Mac, and there are my images. Now, I was looking for my unendorsed brand for my college. Always a good idea to put some alt text. And if I needed to size this graphic proportionally, I could do that here. But this should be good. I'm just going to hit OK. Now what you've seen is this logo looks a little squished, and that can happen. I'm going to move forward for now, but I'll come back to this and show you how you can fix that little issue. And I like to hit save before I move on, just so that the system knows I'm still inside. It's not going to log me out. Sometimes you can be in an email and the system will time out on you without the little warning. It's just a quirk of the system. So just save often. What you're also seeing here in this email are these. Anything with a not an asterisk. It's an asterisk slash asterisk is a merge field. So this is pulling information from some other part of the Stova system. I'm going to leave that for now. A banner. We provide you with a placeholder for a banner. So if you have an event image you would like to share in the email so that it confirms people are getting emails from the event they signed up for, there you go. We suggest this size, 600 by 200. If you don't want a banner, that's no problem. Just highlight it and click delete, and it will go away. But I do want to change, again, I'll do the same thing here. And I'm going to go to Browse. And again, I've already uploaded what I wanted. And there's my banner. But here, as I was saying, this is oversized. I didn't size it properly before I imported, so I'm going to change that, and it should have automatically adjusted again, put text. It should have automatically adjusted those dimensions. Lovely. There is my graphic. Okay. So now I'm going to dive a bit into some code. Do not be alarmed. It's pretty easy, but you do have to do a little searching if you need to fix this. But this can be an issue when you're dealing with graphics in HTML. So I'm going to look for this in the HTML code. To see the code, you would go under Source. And I'm looking for that file name. In fact, let me do something else. I'm going to click on here, and I'm looking for this. Not all of it. Well, can I do all of it? Go here, and I'm going to use my browser's Finder. Yes. The path to that image is right there. And if I'm looking at this code, turn that off now. I'm looking for anything that says height or width. And I see 2. And that's what's causing the problem. I'm seeing a width of 300, I'm seeing a width of 380. So I have to get rid of one of these. Height of 84. I can get rid of one of them or both of them, and the system will figure it out. I'm going to get rid of both of them. In HTML, there's a command followed by a what is that called? Not a colon. The name escapes me. But that little piece of punctuation looks like a period with a dot on top. Sorry. That should fix it just by getting rid of the width. We'll keep the height, and there we have the proportional sized logo. Okay. Another thing that sometimes people hit is I showed you that you could simply highlight this banner and hit delete and it would go away. However, there is still a little space there, and sometimes that extra space between your header up here and the main text down here, that bothers some people. That means that because there's still a little code in there, in the HTML, that's making that space. And this is how you can fix that issue. Go into source code and look for coding that looks like this. Coding that starts like this is just a note inside the code that we developers put to tell us where something starts or where something ends, or some special note for the coder to see. Okay? So to get rid of that extra space, here's the end, here's the start. I would simply highlight all of that, delete it, and then that whole section will be gone from my email, including that extra space. Okay? So if the space bothers you, that's how you can fix it. All right. I told you this is going to be a bit of a deep dive. I don't go into the HTML too often in my demonstrations. All right, moving on. So now we're getting into the body of the email. And again, we put some placeholder merge fields in here and some placeholder text for you to update. You can simply highlight all that and begin writing whatever you want, or deleting it as you like in our templates. Another request we get is for how do I share documents with our attendees. You have something to send, some forms to fill out, or things like that. There are two ways to do it, and one we recommend. One way to do it is to upload a document and share a link to that document in the body of the email. And the second way is to use the attachment section down here. We recommend uploading the doc and sharing it as a link. When you share it as a link, or I should say, when you use the attachment feature, some email spam filters prevent emails from going into the inbox because of attachments. They're just worried that that is not legit. It's got something malicious in it. But if you just simply include a link for your attendees to download something, that passes muster. Okay, so I'm going to show you both ways. First, I'm going to upload a doc, and to do the download method, I'm going to write my text, I'm going to highlight it, and then I'm going to go under link. And normally this would be used for linking text to a URL, but you can use it for documents by clicking the Browse Server button down at the bottom. Same rule applies here. Do not upload anything to the cloud level. Go into your unit folder and either upload here, or if you have organized, put some folders into organize, go into those folders. Yeah, thinking. So now I'm going to go back to my, okay, so then this pops up again, and where do you want to put it? This is one place where you can choose. If you didn't hit it, if you didn't decide where you're going to put it when you hit upload documents, you can here select which folder it goes into. But I had done that. Also keep this note in mind that any documents you put up here are publicly available, so the scrolling bots can discover it. We would not recommend putting anything that's security concern or personal identifying information in this, because again, the bots can find it. In my case, I'm just giving a couple of forms here. There's the map. Those are both my PDFs. Instead of an upload, they just give you a save button. And again, no close. I just manually close this. There are my docs. I'm going to pick out the map. and now it's provided the link to that map. Here's the download text I wrote. Now, if you would click the link without having any text selected, this would be your opportunity to write down what you wanted to say for that link. If you leave this blank, the URL will be displayed as a link, which can be pretty ugly. Okay, so there's my download map. Okay, again, I'm going to hit save. And this is the way we recommend. And you don't have to upload your document to Stova. You can upload this to any cloud-based system that is able to share documents, so Dropbox or Google Drive. You just need to get the link to that that cloud resource that allows a download, and then just add it as a link. Okay. Down here in attachments is the second way, and I just want to show you how to use this properly. What I want to bring to your attention is this drop files anywhere to upload. Do not in Stova, never drag and drop into these areas that say drop files anywhere. They will go to that cloud level I mentioned earlier, and you will never see it again. So we want you to be able to find those files. So to do that, hit Select Files. And again, it should be inside your document database. This is just a different view of these same files we saw earlier. And there is a doc I will add, and now it adds it down here in the corner. Okay, so now it's an attachment. If this isn't the file you want to get rid of attachments like this, just hit the trash can icon and it will be deleted. All right. All right. Now I've showed you how to share docs or upload docs. The next thing I want to talk about are merge codes. There are many available to you, and the more features you turn on in Stova, the more you seem to be able to have. But I just want to cover some of the most requested merge codes. I mean, again, by default in our template, we give you these that are in about the event details page, and that's pulling in information there. If you don't need these fields, feel free to remove them. Now, how do you add them? How do you find them? Well, there are two ways. The hard way, I'll start, is with this button up here that says Merge Fields. This is built into this into the HTML content editor. Click that, and they give you this list, and this is where this system falls apart for me. You have to know where those fields are before you get here. Now, event details, of course, that's going to be the event details page. Attendee details, that's going to be something off of registration. Lovely. But there are some other ones that are harder to find. And even in the easy ones, I'm going to go back and add that event location. You can see they got some long descriptions here trying to help you find these things. Email address of your event location? No. Maybe I can find where else event location is. Map? No. Name of the event's location. See, that's a little tricky. I mean, that's what I want, but that's a little tricky. All right? But I wanted to show you what that is and how that works. Another way, which Laura and I both find much easier, again, saving my changes, is to use this button up here, View Merge Fields, and this will allow you to look at a menu, basically, of all the merge fields available for all the features you've activated on your registration site. So if you've turned something off and you're looking for a specific merge code, it might not be there. I'm thinking of modify permissions or group bookings. But if you turn it on, it'll be here. So it's much easier to open this and then use your browser to find things. And so one frequently asked feature is the add to calendar. So I'm just going to search for calendar. And there we go. Now it's taking me right to where that is. Oh, third party. So if I was back in that button for merge fields, I could find it under third party. That was, yeah, pretty logical, but not always the case. Now this will give me a link, actually a graphic and a link. This is the one I use most commonly for add to calendar, and this will add the event to the calendar. That's great. I'm going to hit that, and I'm just going to copy it, find a spot for it, and paste it. I like to center that. Lovely. In my event, I am providing, or I'm saying people are signing up for sessions, and I want to provide them with that schedule that they signed up for. And I can find merge fields for that and ways for them to add it to their calendar. So again, going to go back to that. And I'm going to search for session and see what I can find. Okay. Agenda sessions, I'm not looking for groups. And now we're finding some things that I'd like. Okay. Lots of choices here. I don't want the available sessions. That would show me everything. There we go. Selected session tables. I even have a couple options there to display. Do I want to see them chronologically? Do I want to see them with locations? Yeah, let's take that one. Now again, I'm also looking for a code that I'm going to be using for allowing people to add just the sessions to their calendars. There is a feature for that. And it's down here. It's still in the calendar section, sessions to calendar. Okay, so again, just calendar, that's the whole event. Sessions to calendar, and this doesn't add the link. Maybe I'll have to show you how this works. This link opens up a web page that lists the person's sessions and allows them to download from that web page what are called ICS files, which they can then drag and drop onto their calendars to program. That's what both of these systems do, give you ICS files. It doesn't automatically add it to your calendar, but it gives the attendee the ability to take the pre-programming and drop it or open it and get it added to their calendar. Okay? I'm going to use another little utility I have for pasting multiple things. That's lovely. And for sessions, one more thing was that first link I did for selected sessions with locations. Okay. Now I won't see what is populating these merge fields until I either send myself a test email or do a test registration and get the confirmation email. All right, one last merge field that a lot of people like to use, especially for paid events, are providing people with a link to their invoice or receipt. And it's actually, it's the same merge field. And it's the invoice. So in Stova, if people have paid you and there's no balance due, it's a receipt. If they owe you money, it's an invoice. It's the same merge field, and the system knows the difference. And you have your choice of an HTML link to the person's invoice, which you could use connected to a piece of text, or again, they give you a graphic button to the invoice. Okay, so I'm just going to add the button. Now again, as I said earlier, I would make a second email that has just the invoice button to it. I can clone this and make it a secondary email and get rid of everything else just with the invoice button. Lovely. All right, let's save that. Now, there are other merge fields that you can use if you create custom merge fields. Uh, you may need to do that for attendee questions. You want to get the answer in the email. You may need to do it for some more specific sessions where you just want to say you have signed up for this one session. You don't want to give an entire list of sessions, right? You signed up for the executive committee and you just want to make sure that that's in the email. You would need to make a custom merge field, which you would do inside the attendee info question or inside the session, get its number, and then you'd be able to paste that into the email. After you've done with designing your email, you probably want to take a look at what it looks like. One last save. And there is a way to preview the email here. I don't really think this is a great preview because it doesn't give you information in the merge fields. To see that information, you would need to click Send Test Email here. And once you have merge fields inside your email, the system knows it and asks you, do you want to test those merge fields? And it gives you a random list of people who are registered. So if you don't have anyone registered, even in a test situation, then this will be blank. But if you submit a few registrations, so there's some data in there, we'll look for those people, pick them. What you're seeing right now are some of my sponsors. They were the last people I entered into the system. But I can certainly still use that for a test. It will send it to this email address. This is what this account has, but I can change this to send it to anyone else I'd like to review this. But I'm just going to use the default, and after you hit Send Test Now, one email sent, and it'll show up in your inbox. Review it, see if it looks the way you want it to look. If not, come back, make some changes, and you can try another test. All right. Now that was just all customizing the content of this email. I'm going to hit save and stay one last time and go on to the next tab of the triggered email is recipients. And here's where I choose who gets this confirmation email. This is what's turned on by default. Anyone who's a public registration, they came in through the event URL, will get this email. Admin registrations are you. So if you have used the admin registration feature, an email is not automatically sent when you register someone. If you want that to happen, you would need to turn that on here. You can also designate by categories who gets what email. So I may not want everyone in my categories to get this. General mission, yes. Exhibitors, yep. The reps, probably not. The sponsors, sure. Maybe not the staff. So I can pick and choose, or I can select all. Now down here, I can also send an email based on the session selected. Just a word of warning about this section. This logic of this section is what I call AND logic. Okay, and what that means is if I wanted to send this email just to people who say came to the are coming to the trip to the Top Golf, great, I'd hit registered, save this email, and then if anyone selected trip to Top Golf in my event, they would get an email. But if I send or if I select registered for more than one, then both of these things have to be true before the email is sent. This is why I've seen trip people up the most. It's not an or logic where it's if someone selects this or this, the email would be sent. It is and logic. Okay, so that's especially critical if you're trying to send emails to people coming to your sessions. So when we set up the reminder emails to you guys coming to our webinars, I have to create an email for each event so that just the people who signed up will get the reminders. Okay? But I don't want to do that right now. You also have the ability to send an email based on a question. Laura and I were trying to think of an example of what a question would be, but perhaps you've asked some question on the attendee info page, and you need to send additional information to them. Every time I think of these, I already got that covered by categories, but what could it be? Do you want more information? And maybe if they said yes, this is the email where that more information is coming, or directs them to where to go. Or will you be using on-site parking? And if they said yes, you're able to send them instructions on how to get there, what's the code word or whatever to get in for free. Things like that is what you can use for questions. The questions have to have predetermined answers. It can't be open-ended on your attendee info form. So if I was just to add a question here, you'd see the ones that already have those kind of things. They're either a drop box, can be a radio button, but they have predetermined answers. And then when you select one, right, what is the answer that triggers the email? Okay. Even if you do not make any changes to what you see here, I still strongly recommend that you hit the save and stay or save and exit button right after you've made the event and are going through adjusting. Sometimes the system needs that. If you don't do that, you might have people saying, I'm not getting the confirmation email. Or during your testing, you'll notice, I'm not getting the confirmation email. Sometimes the system needs that sort of refreshed command that you actually do want the confirmation email sent to the people you've designated here. So just as a precaution, review it and then hit save and exit to go to save your changes here. Okay? A little tip. All right, and so that's system and that's triggered emails. Next section are the scheduled emails. So you want to send a message to your attendees, a reminder before the event, or a follow-up survey after the event. Or you just need to make an email that you may need to send to a few people, but maybe not everyone. When you still do that here in the scheduled emails to events section. In our template, again, we offer you a default template for reminders. And it looks very similar to the triggered emails with one little extra feature. You edit it the same way by clicking the edit button. Something else of note here is that if you just hit an email and try to go to recipients, yeah, it's going to let me in this one, but back on triggered it might not. If you're creating an email brand new and you haven't saved your changes, it may not let you go to the next tab until you hit save. So if you hold your mouse over the next tab and you see the circle with the crossed out gray symbol, no, you can't do that. That's probably what's happening. Hit the save button and move forward. And if you get an error message about some fields not filled out properly, you'll need to fix that and save before you can move forward. That can happen in some really old events if you're cloning old events that don't have the DMARC in it, or you haven't made any changes to content. Sometimes the system prevents you from moving forward until it's certain that you have done something on this page before you move forward. It's trying to look out for you. So I'm going to hit that save, just to get in the habit. I'm not going to make any content changes to this. Going to recipients, again, some of the same recipients that we saw on triggered emails with a little extra sauce. Now we can send reminders based on a person's status. So by default, we send confirmed, but after the event, you might just want to send a survey to the people who you have checked in as attended. And keep this in mind if you do make that email, that you come in here and update the status. Otherwise, it's going to send it to everyone who confirmed. That might not be what you want. But you can see the other statuses available here. If somebody is on the wait list and you need to send a scheduled email to them, you can, whether they've been canceled or they're no-shows. Okay. Down here again, the session selection, same thing. This is an AND logic inside here. Also can send based on questions, responses. But the extra added sauce here is this handy little thing is after you've made these changes and hit save, this number will update and tell you how many people that are this is going to be sent to at that current time. So if more people are going to register after I've created this, that's fine. The system will know that. But this gives you a confirmation that the changes have been effected. When I do this for the webinars, it's telling me, oh yeah, I expected 16 people to be coming to this webinar. Great, that's the number I expected to see. Oh, I changed the feature. I expect to see a new number. Yep, that's happening. Great. All right. And then hit save. And now here's the new or the additional feature of scheduled emails is actually the schedule. Do you want it to go emailed on a date and at a certain time? You can set that here. If you don't like the time provided, just click on another option. Right? And that's for specific dates and times. If you prefer, you can use a relative date. Perhaps you'd like to send it so many. I got to turn on so many hours, days, weeks after the event start, before the event start, before or after the event end date, or before or after the registration close date. So a couple different options, if however you prefer to schedule, either an absolute date and time or a relative date and time. Okay. I'm just going to go back here and don't really make any changes to it. Okay. Now, if I had made changes, it would tell me that this is set and how many people it's going to be sent to. And then after that date and time have passed, then it will look like this. It will say, okay, this is scheduled and it was sent. Oh, it's also giving me an idea of who it's being sent to here. Lovely. So when I did this demo previously, it got sent fine. And there was nobody selected, so it's telling me how many. And usually I've never seen a failure of a delivery. You should see however many you expected to be delivered, matching the number actually sent. Now, you cannot edit this after the fact, but you can still clone this email and use it for the next reminder that you want to program. A couple of things about this. So to create a new email, and that's true in any of these sections, we recommend cloning because then you're getting our ASU branding, which is already pre-programmed. But sometimes you may, or if you click the big blue button, you don't have ASU branding, you can click the create email. I just want to go over what the system's going to do for you. It's going to pop up for me here. This is what a default Stova email looks like. They call it a custom email. Everything's blank here, and you will not be able to move forward until you've filled out these required fields. Required fields have that red asterisk in front of it, at the very least. And then down here, they've given you their pre-programmed areas for putting a logo in a banner. And it's hard to tell, but this is the body down here. And you have to click on it to see that it's the body. That's one of the reasons I don't like it. Another reason is if you use this, it will just be a plain looking, left justified, text-based email. And I'm a designer, and that's just not the way I go. That's just not the way I do things. So again, let me warn you, if you do use this system, here we have some drop and drag areas. Don't do it. Don't do it. Always select your files to add them up here. If you were to look at the details of our provided emails, you will see we don't use this single column template system. We use custom HTML. And yes, it's warning me I'm doing that. And now this is what you were seeing earlier. But what I wanted to use this for, besides trying to steer you toward custom HTML, was also how you can steal email HTML code from other emails in our system if you want to create new emails that way. So I'm going to have to put in a name. And I'll just use what the computer remembers I've done. Oh, it didn't select. Come on. Okay. Set all the required fields more than, oh, subject line. What are my email types here? Event journey is not a system that we're using right now. Room share confirmation I have not used. So yeah, we're just going to keep it as a custom email. So at this point, I'm just going to save what I've got and exit. Got it there. So this, I've seen a lot of people have emails in the triggered section. It's like, is there a way to make a copy of that and put it in the scheduled email section? This is how. I'm going to copy my confirmation. I'm going to go into my confirmation email. I'm going to go into the source code button here in the content editor. And I'm going to select everything and hit copy. And now I'm going to back out of that. Go down to my new email and do just the reversed. Hit source. Click in there, hit paste. Now when I turn source on, boom, there's everything. Links to the branded logos, the banner, everything. Now I can start editing this for my new email. Okay. That's all I'm going to cover with scheduled emails. I'm checking chat, still no questions. So the last section here in the event emails beta tab are emails to event administrators. This is for sending emails to anyone who wants to be notified every time someone registers or some other action. It's rare, but it happens. Yes, you could put the person's name in the BCC field in the above emails, but what you would get is just a copy of that person's confirmation email. This gives you a special email that just gives you the basic details of the person who is registering or whatever. So this one I'm going to create. And here are email types. Do you want to be notified if there's an incomplete or a new registration or something's updated, et cetera, et cetera? Let's just do this new registration. There is some pre-programmed stuff happening here. And yes, this needs to be DMAC as well. So don't go for the default Eventry stuff. See, I told you Eventry might show up somewhere. And get rid of the DMAC there. And let's do the... Do a simple copy paste there. All right. So here I'm not so much worried about formatting because I'm just providing information, and this is the default information sent in this email. Just whoever's registered, their name, company, phone. I can add more information here if I want to, but generally I go for the defaults for this kind of email. I'm going to hit save. Okay, again, this is going to a supervisor or something like that. And next on this recipients tab, I say who gets this email. And what do I want them to do? I want them to see all registrations. Okay. I'm going to hit save. Now, if there's more than one person, it should get that notification. And this specific notification, then I'm going to hit another one. Let's say add it to our own inbox, say. Lovely. If this person decides they are getting inundated in their inbox with all these notifications, that particular person can be removed by clicking delete. Or after you've hit save and exit and have it programmed, you can delete it for everybody here. But you can also come in and edit if you need to add more users or update the information sent. Right? Or if you need to do a clone of it for a different notification, you saw they had a number of notifications, incompletes, for example. This is how you could clone the content and then just change the trigger. All right. One other thing to note here is this feature. You can check this, send email notifications for admin registrations. Here, we mentioned that earlier that by default, the system does not automatically send an email when you, as the host, use admin registration to register someone on their behalf. So if you want that to happen, you can check this box and the system will then do that automatically. Or you can also send emails manually another way. Okay, so we've touched on emails to administrators automatically, reminder emails, which are scheduled, and of course the triggers. So how else can you send emails? Well, first we're assuming that you have created the email here in the scheduled emails section. Okay, once you've done that, you can go to the registrant list and send any email a couple different ways. If you want to send an email to a number of selected people in your registrant list, you can do that. Perhaps the registration closed and you allowed these people to register after, but they didn't get a confirmation or whatever. You can come to registrant list, select them here on this column, and then use the with checked records feature down here at the bottom. And one of the options is to send an email. And this will send the same email to everyone that you selected in this list. I'm waiting for the pop-up. Did I not select it? Oh, there it is. I thought it was going to pop up on the other screen, and it did. Okay, so those are the people I selected. Which email do I want to send? Right, so this will include triggered emails. This is how you can send people that confirmation email if they didn't get it. But here's where those scheduled emails are. So again, this is, I said, if you want to make a custom email for some particular purpose, they'll be called custom emails here. Right, and I select it and hit send, and this will bulk send. Okay, if you need to look at this, this will give you a preview, I believe, with the merge fields populated. Yes. Okay. The other way of sending an email to people, perhaps you just want to send onesie twosie. You just have one person who has a problem, the confirmation email, or needs to be notified about something. Go inside the attendee profile. Again, you keep popping up on the other monitor. And at the top of the attendee profile, this button, send email. Select the email you want to send. Doesn't look very pretty, but you can preview if you want to. And hit send. I don't know why it's not showing the HTML version of that. That's interesting. Let's try a different one. I have not noticed that before. I don't know if that's a browser thing or not. Now you're making me regret doing that. Huh. I may have to have a chat with our account manager about that. That's very strange. So I'll just assume it's going to send it as a nice looking HTML email since it's got the code there. Lovely. At the bottom, there it is. Send. That's what I was looking for. Send email at the bottom of the screen. It just sends one to this one individual. So it takes care of bulk sending and manual single attendee sending. Next, I want to chat a bit about some of the reporting that you have available in Stova regarding emails, and one of them is actually in the attendee profile itself. So while we're here, let's scroll down. We actually have a section on the email history. Now, we're not seeing anything for confirmation emails because this is something I made up as an admin. No emails were sent. But any emails that had been sent to people would have been listed here item by item. Somebody said they didn't get the confirmation email, come into their attendee profile and confirm that, and then send it. So you have that history here for all emails. You also have a history on everything that you or the attendee has done in their registration site. That's handy too. But for this demonstration, emails are what we're talking about. And then there is a report under reports and functions where you can see how many emails of each type you have on the event emails beta have been sent. This is called the emails sent report. And so my initial confirmation has been sent 25 times, delivered to 3. I'm surprised there are that many because these are supposed to be fake email addresses in this list. Maybe it was just to me. Okay, and if I want to see who those people are, I can click View. And boom, it gives me the full list of who were those people. Yeah, it was me. Okay, good. That's not me. I apologize to whoever test Aaron is. So somebody's using my test emails. And you can export this list or simply go back if you want to see what other emails have been sent in the system. Okay, well, that is the end of my outline. We've come to the end. I knew we wouldn't make the full 90 minutes, but now what I'd like to do is I'd like to open it up to questions you have. Anybody about event emails, how to customize them, how they're triggered, or how to send them, anything along those lines, anything we've covered today. Feel free to either post your question in the chat or simply, at this point, unmute your microphone and fire away. While I'm waiting to see if anyone has any questions, I'm going to throw this up for you. These are the different support options when you leave today. If you have questions, those questions come to you after you've signed off. It's like, oh, shoot, I should have asked that. Post the question in our Slack channel and have other users answer how they solved your problem or what solutions they came up with. Or check out our website, and where a lot of support docs and setup docs are available. Send the question to us by email, stova@asu.edu. A lot of our previous webinars are hosted on our YouTube channel. Feel free to go back there for looking for your answers. Or as I said, look for future webinars. Not sure I'm doing emails again by doing the marketing module I mentioned. A different kind of email will be happening later this term. Or you can pop into our office hours, which are Tuesdays from 1:30 to 2:30. Pop in there and ask your questions. And if you need a question answered outside of business hours, you can contact Stova support. Laura and I are not 24/7. We're ASU business hours. Stova, however, is 24/7. Send an email to their support team or enter your user account, click the support site link, and go to their support site where you'll find docs or their 800 number or sort of chat with their team on your specific questions. So, not seeing any questions in the chat. Nobody is raising their hand, and I'm not seeing anybody unmuting a microphone, so I guess we'll wrap this up. Again, hope to see you in future webinars we are offering, and hope you got a lot out of this webinar. So have a good rest of your day. Bye now.